Hi everybody, it's Terry with Crafty Book Nerd, here today to share with you what I read for the month of October. But first, you know what time it is. Time for our quote of the day. Today's quote says, "It's impossible," said pride. "It's risky," said experience. "It's pointless," said reason. "Give it a try," whispered the heart. So I had a pretty good reading month for October. Did not read quite as many books as I would like to, but a few of these were chunkers. And so that was one reason I did not read as many. So I managed to read 6 books for the month of October, and you had followed me before. I had told you that I wanted to focus on thrillers, and I did. I actually read 4 thrillers in the month of October, and then I read 2 fantasies. So I'm going to start with my least favorite and work up to my favorite book for the month of October. And if you've read any of these, love to hear your thoughts. So the first one I want to talk about is A Twisted Love Story by Samantha Downing. Now, I've read several Samantha Downing books, and I really enjoyed them, but this one kind of disappointed me a little bit. It didn't really read like much of a thriller. It was, to me, more like a mystery. It's the story of Wes and his significant other, Ivy, who are very much in love. And they have been on and off again now for like 10 years. They just go back and forth, back and forth. And sometimes they'd go months without being together. Well, things start going better for them until a detective named Karen shows up. And she sets off alarms with them about something that happened 7 years ago. And she is digging into that cold case. And that's making Wes and Ivy very uncomfortable. And so Karen is digging, and that affects their relationship. And so this is the story about what Karen finds and what happens to Wes and Ivy. And like I said, I enjoyed it. It was a solid 3 stars. If you like a mystery, I would definitely recommend it. But it was kind of slow paced, and at times I was confused about what was going on, and I also got tired of the back and forth between Wes and Ivy. It just kind of got to be redundant and boring, and I just didn't enjoy that. So it is about a toxic relationship and how this toxic relationship spills over to other parts of their lives. That's A Twisted Love Story by Samantha Downing, 3 stars for me. The next one I read is also by another author that I really like, and that's Karin Slaughter. She's an author that I would like to read to zero, which means I'd like to read everything that she has written. And that book was After That Night. This is a story about Sarah. And 15 years ago, something happened to Sarah that changed her life. And now she is moving forward. She has a good job. She's a doctor, and everything is going well for her until a patient shows up in ER. And Sarah's trying to help this patient, and she does everything that she can for this young woman. And then she realizes that what happened to this young woman is very similar to what happened to her 15 years ago. And so she starts trying to piece together exactly what happened with her and get to the bottom of the real story. Once again, this was kind of more like a mystery of trying to figure out what was going on, not so much a thriller. I did enjoy it. Like I said, I like Karin Slaughter. She's the author I want to read to zero, and I did give this one 4 stars. The next one, I'm not even sure where I heard about this one or why I picked it up. It might have been in one of those trips when I went to the library and it was on an end cap, and I read the little blurb and it sounded interesting, so I picked it up. And it's called The Mother of All Things by Gabrielle Blake. Now, this is a debut, and it did not read like a debut. It was very well written. This book was kind of shocking, surprising, a little creepy, and it was tense, it was dark, but it was good, and I gave it 4 stars. It's about a woman named Elaine, and Elaine has had something that happened in her childhood that was pretty traumatic, and she has pretty much forgotten all of that. And so she wants to move on with her life, and so she moves back to her hometown and with her mother and her children, and tries to move on. And she's in her childhood home. Well, being in that home starts making her think about things. And She realizes that she has been betrayed. There has been deceit involved in some things, and she's trying to unravel all that to figure out what really happened. And she begins to wonder, is she the one who's losing it? Well, you're going to have to read The Mother of All Things to find out what happens to Elaine in this story. It was good, 4 stars. The next one I read is Don't Let Her Stay by Nicola Sanders. I had heard about this from somebody, and they had said that it was really good, and I cannot agree more. Read it in one day, couldn't put it down, couldn't figure out who was telling the truth, what was going on, so it was definitely a thriller book for me. Don't Let Her Stay. Joanne is married to Richard, and they have a baby named Evie, and life is really good for them. And then Richard finds out he has a daughter, Chloe, and she's 21 years old, and she returns to live with them. And Chloe is trying to go behind Joanna, her stepmother's back, and make her look bad to her husband, which is Chloe's father. And so you just can't figure out who's telling the truth. Is Chloe telling the truth? Is Joanna telling the truth? There were twists and turns, things I didn't see coming. And then at the end, I was like, what just happened? It was definitely a thriller, and it was a 5-star for me. And I highly recommend it if you like thrillers. And I'm not sure what else this author has written, but I will definitely check that out. Next, I'm continuing in the Crave series. I have finished book 5, which means I only have 1 book left, and I'm over halfway through with that one. So that one will get finished before the end of the year. So this one is Crave. This one is Charm, which is the 5th book in the Crave series by Tracy Wolff. This book was interesting because when I first started reading, I was a little confused. And then I realized that this book takes place during the 4 months when Grace was gone. So this book actually is events that happen before book 4, Court. So what happens in this book actually precedes what happened in the 4th book. Once you start reading it, you'll understand. So this is what happened during that time when she was gone and nobody knew where she was and what was going on. And so we learn what happens between her and Hudson, who she absolutely doesn't know if she wants to kill him or kiss him. And we watched their relationship develop, and it was really good. And I'm still loving the story. And like I said, I'm halfway through the last one. I'm anxious to see what the outcome is going to be, but I'm really enjoying the series. And of course, I gave this 5 stars. There was a quote from this one that I really liked, and so I'm going to read that to y'all. I love you with a love that shall not die, until the sun grows cold and the stars grow old. You've taught me that real love isn't about finding someone who makes you happy. It's about finding your own happiness and then sharing that with the person you love. I love that quote. And my favorite book for the month of October is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Oh my gosh. When I first saw this book and it came out and I realized it was about dragons, I was like, yes, I'm in. Love Game of Thrones. Love the House of Dragons. Love anything with dragons. And of course, it's a fantasy on top of that. And those are some things that I love. So I was definitely hooked. After I read the first few pages, I don't know, 20, 25 pages, I was online looking for when the second book was coming out and I ordered it. And it should actually be here in a few days, and I can't wait because I'm planning to sit down and probably try to read it all in one day because I'm so excited to find out what happened. It was so good. So this book is about Violet, and she is trying to figure out what she's going to do as she's getting older. She's 21 years old, and she wants to be a scribe in the scribe quadrant, which means that her life would consist of books and history, and it would just be a nice, calm life, and she would be fine. Well, her mother, who is the commander, decides that, nope, that's not what's happening. I want you to be a dragon rider. Now, being a dragon rider is not an easy thing. They go to a college where they learn about war and how to ride dragons. Well, Violet is not very strong. She is a small person. She is brittle. She is fragile. And she thinks there's no way I'm going to be able to pull this off and be a dragon rider. And so this story in Fourth Wings follows all the different adventures and the things that go on as she is learning to be a dragon rider. There was so much action in this book. I just loved it. I could actually, in my mind's eye, see the scenes playing out with the dragons when they meet the dragons, and the flying and the battles. It was just so well written. I just absolutely loved it. So you're going to have to read the book to see if Violet becomes an elite dragon rider, because she finds out in this war college where she's attending, there are only two ways to get out. You either graduate or you die. I can't wait to see what happens in the next book, and that should be coming in the next day or so. And so stay tuned when I review that one. And now I've heard there may be 6 books in this series. Hey, I'm all for that because I absolutely loved it. Of course, I gave it 5 stars. So there are the 6 books that I read. And the reason I don't have the actual books, I am going to buy Fourth Wing because that's going to be a keeper. The reason I don't have the actual books is because they were all from the library. And, of course, I had to turn them back in because I don't want any overdue fines. So I turned them back in. And I haven't learned how to people put the little pictures when they're doing a video. And so I just go to Google, do a search for the image, put that in a Word document, print them out on cardstock, cut them out. And that way I can show you the book with the author. And then these have a double purpose. Then I will use these in my reading junk journal, which I'm behind on, and hopefully we'll be able to do a video soon on that. So thank you for listening to me about the books I read in October. If you read any of these, love to hear your thoughts. If you're new to my channel, would love to have you a subscriber and share with your friends. I can't believe it. I'm up to 300 subscribers now. Just in the last few weeks, I've just went from 100 to 300, and that's been really exciting. Pretty soon, I'm going to be doing a giveaway when I reach 500 subscribers. So please share, please subscribe. Thank you for watching my video, and everybody have a great day.